In this video, we look at direct proportion. Direct proportion isn't something brand new to you. You would have experienced it when it comes to best buys, value for money, recipes, and exchange rates. And it means as one variable changes, the other changes at the same rate. This can be represented on a straight line graph. So for example, as the hours worked increases, the earnings increase at the same rate here. It'll always be a straight line for direct proportion, and it will always begin at 0, 0. Today's lesson is about being able to form an equation to be able to work with direct proportion rather than represent it as a graph or represent it as a kind of a ratio. We have 4 steps that we are going to take to use this, and we use this symbol of proportionality to do it. This symbol on its own means is directly proportional to. So this does the job of this entire section here, is directly proportional to. This sign says that entire sentence. So in step 1 over here, we can see that the value E is directly proportional to P. We represent that in step 1 using the symbol rather than the sentence. So E is first, is directly proportional to, represented as a symbol, with P coming next. Our next step is to convert this to an equation using the constant of proportionality. And all that means is that instead of having the directly proportional symbol, we change it to become equals K, because we are interested in finding what makes it proportional. And that means, so in here we can see 1 gives us 10. 2 gives us 20. 3 gives us 30. So in this instance, K would be 10 because it is increasing by 10 each time. We are using this equals K to be able to work out what the value is increasing by each time. Now, in part 3, we are asked to use the given information to find the constant of proportionality. And the next sentence we see, it has told us that E is 20. So E is now 20. And P is 10. P is 10. So if we write that in as another step, I am now saying we have 20 is equal to K multiplied by 10. That can be shown as 10K. Now here we have 20 is equal to 10K. We've got a one-step equation where to be able to work out what K is, we would be doing the opposite of what is happening between 10 and K. And at the moment, we are multiplying by 10. That means I would need to divide each side by 10 to get to my answer for K. So this gives me 10 divided by 10 is 1K. 20 divided by 10 is 2. And we substitute that then back into our equation where K is now represented as 2. Using the E as it was, the directly proportional to changes to an equal sign. We worked out that K was equal to 2 and the P gets written down again. This can then be used to calculate any equations to find unknowns. Let's look at a my turn example. So, y is directly proportional to x. My first step is to represent this using the symbol for proportional instead of is directly proportional to. That means I write down y is directly proportional to x, and that is my step 1 complete. The next is to convert to an equation using a constant of proportionality. That is where we replace the proportion sign into an equals k with both the letters still there. So this changes to equals k, where y remains as it is and x remains as it is. Step 2 is complete. Step 3, use the given information to find the constant of proportionality. So in this question it says y is equal to 16 when x is equal to 4. So we are using y is 16 when x is 4 and everything else remains as it is. So equals k and times by 4. Remember, when things are next to each other, they multiply by each other. This can be written, remember, as 16 would be equal to 4k. We now have our one-step equation which we will use to work out what k is. Now we would divide by 4 and divide by 4, as at the moment we want k to be on its own and we are multiplying by 4. That means 16 divided by 4 is 4, and that would be equal to k. We have now completed part 3. We now want to substitute this k back in to this equation here, because we now know what k is. Y can change, x can change. K will remain the same for every single equation we could get. So that means k needs to be put back in there. So step 4, y remains. It is now equal to 4 with x remaining as it is. So part A is finished. We have formed our equation. We now would like to work out part B, as we use this equation to work out what y is when x is 6. So this time, x is 6, x is 6. That means we have y is equal to 4 multiplied by 6, meaning y is equal to 4 times 6, which is 24. Press pause while you try the your turn question. Okay, so in part A, we are asked to work out the equation for y and x. We do this using our steps 1 to 4 as outlined in this table here, where our first step is to write the proportional relationship using this direct proportion symbol. So in this case, we can see that y is directly proportional to x, where the directly proportional bit is represented with this symbol here. That means I write y down and I say it's directly proportional to x. Step 2 is to convert the equation using the constant of proportionality. So we want to know what the constant is. This equals k. This matches up to our equation below, where equals k is used instead. So this changes to equals k, and y and x remain where they are. Step 2 is complete. Step 3, use the given information to find the constant of proportionality. We want to work out what k is, using the information they have given to you in the question. So y is 12 when x is 3. So step 3, we are told y is 12 when x is 3, x is 3. We are still using the equals k, but replacing the y with 12 and the x with times 3. This can be written as 12 is equal to 3k. We now solve to work out what k is by doing the opposite of 3 times k, which would be divide by 3 and divide by 3. That means that 12 divided by 3 is 4, and that would be equal to k. Step 3 is complete. Step 4 is to substitute this value for k into the equation that you started with. So we are using y as it is. This time it's not equal to k because we now know k is 4, and x remains as it is. Part A is now complete, and the answer is y is equal to 4x. Part B, we use y is equal to 4x to answer the next part of the question, where they have told you that x is equal to 2. So x is equal to 2. That means we have y is equal to 4, not times x now, but times 2, meaning that y is equal to